Please let us welcome Dr. Summers.
Thanks, Brenda. Dr. Stoddard. As you'll hear, I can't say enough good things about the efforts and programs you guys at SBIA and your counterparts in CDER and CDER provide. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff, and I'm the Associate Director for Translational Sciences in the Office of Oncologic Diseases in CDER. I'm excited that SBIA is producing this webinar and for the participation of CBER, CDER, and CDER, who have all been part of the NCI CARES program. I personally have had the opportunity to interact with you, the academic investigator, life science accelerators, and small oncology startup companies, and I know that real pharmaceutical innovation, at least half the time, originates with you. The pathway, the target, the epiphanies frequently are your ideas, your experiments, your discoveries. I have read and heard a lot of your questions through various OCE programs and scientific conferences. I'm going to try and distill successful, effective drug development down into one primary bullet, 2 take-home points, and a bonus imploration. That will no doubt be a recurring theme today. What I hope to accomplish in 10 minutes with a minimum of metaphors is to put a positive spin on the questionable webinar title, to telegraph in no uncertain fashion the action you need to take to be successful with a caveat, to highlight the approaches and opportunities to accomplish that, and even though it's probably not AI, another caveat, and finally, a bonus imploration. I'm assuming somewhere in the development of this webinar that the title went through or by me and I did not say anything. Now, the communications folks in the Oncology Center of Excellence are always telling me, you cannot be negative, Jeff, just say the positive. And I always argue that this is not reality and instead just state facts, data, truths in a pleasant manner. But as I perseverated over that title, I realized these are not really your do's and don'ts, but the agency's FDA's limitations and mandates. We, FDA Oncology, are required to follow statutes and regulations. And I am not going to quote you a bunch of excerpts from Section 300 of the Code of Federal Regulations. But I will highlight and perseverate on the guidance documents we generate to help you follow regulations. But let me start with a positive. The Oncology Center of Excellence wants nothing more than to help you add more vibrant and effective colors to the palette of anti-cancer therapies. That's our mission, our primary due, to approve more safe and effective drugs. And unlike the approach of the past, which we now know was hopeful but misguided, where the idea of more is better was incorrect, and we have a whole program called Project Optimus to move away from the maximally tolerated drug paradigm of the past. More is actually better. More drugs targeted to specific cancer cell molecular vulnerabilities increases the possible log cell kill and heterogeneous tumors, getting us closer to cures. The Oncology Center of Excellence's primary due is to approve safe and effective oncology drugs. It's also required from a regulatory perspective that we, FDA Oncology, make it a fair and level playing field. Your company doesn't receive any help that large pharma cannot also avail themselves of. They just don't need the regulatory help. They have in-house experts who have been around the block hundreds of times. And finally, we would like to guide you in meeting the standards of manufacturing a safe, pure, potent drug that performs as purported in your proposed product label. So I have seen many of your questions, and FDA and the OCE really want to help. We do not want to be a scary black box, but there are things we can't do, answer, or provide. We don't do discovery. This originates from your creativity and insights. The rush of eureka is yours alone. We are not consultants. In general, we will not tell you what path or approach to take in obtaining what we think is necessary data to support the safety and efficacy of your drug. There are multiple ways to skin a cat. We will not disclose information from other entities' drug development programs, period. If there is a safety issue with a particular product type, pathway perturbation, mechanism of action that we think will be relevant to your drug, we may ask for specific safety data to address those concerns that arose from other drug development programs. And monetary matters are outside of the FDA Product Center's purview and expertise, and intellectual property due diligence is your responsibility. The one action for success, the number one action to take is, but first the caveat. Now this is a little simplistic, but there's an adage for successful drug development, and it starts with one that works. So I can give you a whole talk on what I think that magic sauce is, But what is just as important is you, your team. And the number one action is, I hope this comes across in a collegial and respectful fashion, you need to step up to the plate and inform yourselves. As you all know, there are limited resources, particularly in regulatory agencies. We, FDA Oncology, can only do so much based on those limiting resources. You've done the creative part, the difficult part. Science is hard. You've identified a pathway, an epitope, a target. Pick your arrow, whatever approach you're going to use to hit that target, and turn it into a drug. You are in the major leagues now. Take home point number 1. Read the relevant FDA and ICH guidance documents. All kinds of people spend all kinds of time writing these documents so you can understand what needs to be done to meet the regulatory standards. These guys at all, the Oncology Center of Excellence and cross-center offices, have created 60 new oncology-specific guidance documents over the last 6 years, all linked on the Oncology Center of Excellence's guidance webpage. Whenever I give one of these entrepreneurial talks, I bring this slide up. Each one of these groups is here today, and they produce invaluable educational resources that they will no doubt discuss today. From CDER's OTP Learn, which I am summarily impressed with, to CDER webinars like this one today. It's out there. You just need to Google, listen, watch, and learn. One of the many educational endeavors the Oncology Center of Excellence sponsors are the Project Catalyst Bench-to-Bedside Chats, designed specifically for academicians and university life science accelerators, where we discuss topics related to early-stage drug development. And not to be FDA-centric, both NCI SBIR folks and the NIH Seed Office have produced fantastic educational resources for the life science entrepreneurs for CDER, CBER, and CDRH regulated products. Take home point number 2. I'm assuming you, the audience, are creative scientists or physician scientists who have a day job and then some, and that you have made interesting observations in your science and want to exploit those observations against cancer and translate the science into medicine. And hopefully you have done the crux activity experiment. You have formed a company to make a product to treat cancer. You are an oncology startup. Congratulations. Many times, startup companies fail long before their science fails because of poor enterprise. And navigating the regulatory aspects of drug development is one part of that enterprise. And take-home point number 2 is, most founders of biotech startups realize this quickly. They have a day job and they like their day job. Maybe you could do it all in your academic lab in the rented wet space you just leased last week. Maybe you and the smattering of actual employees of said startup could learn on the fly. But you are likely to make multiple mistakes in navigating the enterprise of drug development. If you do not have the expertise in-house, take-home point number 2, carefully consider bringing a competent regulatory consultant to the table. And finally, my bonus imploration. You may have conducted seminal science and generated a potential novel therapeutic, but sometimes we notice that you might lack experience in the specific disease indication you are pursuing. Engage with colleagues, particularly your oncology subspecialist and first-in-human clinical trialists. And then engage with FDA. You are the pharmaceutical innovators. It doesn't happen without your creativity. But we, FDA Oncology, and the OCE and the projects and programs they're in, and most importantly, the people, want to help you advance oncology patient care. We are not a roadblock, or box checkers, or bureaucrats. We are scientists, oncologists, nurses, pharmacists, and most importantly, all of us are cancer patient advocates. There are more different ways to engage with FDA Oncology today than there have ever been. We are not a black box or something to be feared. The Oncology Center of Excellence, through Project Catalyst, conduct informal accelerator innovator discussion aid meetings with academic project teams and coordinate the oncology regulatory expertise and early guidance, or OREG program, to address product type development questions you might have. We, FDA Oncology, also conduct slightly more formal pre-IND meetings, also known as Interact meetings, to help you with early stage drug development issues. And there is a pre-IND meeting to make sure you are generating the required IND enabling data and not conducting unnecessary studies. I don't think there are any PDUFA fees associated with these programs. They are a free lunch, a free resource. So a quick summary. Step up to the plate. The fact that you are here today suggests you are at least in the on-deck circle. Read, listen, learn. Consider competent consultation sooner rather than later. And most importantly, engage, or you might find yourself stuck in space. And I leave you with my favorite quote: research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Albert St. Georgi. I implore you to think differently in your research and to listen carefully in your drug development efforts. And with that, I'll turn the virtual floor over to Dr. Parisma Patel, who's been an instrumental and insightful subject matter expert for your product quality questions. Dr. Patel.